hey, I'm gonna make a protein bar.
Yeah.
And I start mashing stuff together in my kitchen.
Hey guys, what's up? We are outside of Front Street Cafe right now in Philadelphia, and we're about to meet up with Molly and John from Keto Bars.
What do you think Molly and John are gonna have to say?
I mean, hopefully a lot, right? They're also on the ketogenic diet. They're created an incredible bar.
Started their own business, lot to learn. We're gonna get to all the fine details of what it takes to start your own small business, the thought process behind creating a keto packaged good, because we're curious, because we're like tasting them all the time.
Yeah.
So like, how do you create one?
So we want to find out what separates keto bars and shakes from everyone else on the market.
Let's go inside and talk to Molly and John.
Let's do it. Come follow us.
With anxious heart, I'll hurry to the door, and maybe you'll be there.
Hey guys, my name's John and I'm the founder of Keto Bars. My personal kind of adventure with the keto diet started in that I was a shot putter and hammer thrower in college. So I was huge. When I graduated, I weighed almost 300 pounds. And a lot of it was like big bulk weight from being in the weight room. But most of it was that I just was like overeating. I was just overweight, right? So I graduate from college. Obviously, shot putting isn't really a great career. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me lose some weight. Let me figure this stuff out. And I just cut my calories. So like that's how I got started, and it was working. I was exercising more, like I'll say from less weight room time to a little more cardio. So I was definitely burning more calories. I was having some success, and then I said, let me try a low carb diet. Didn't know much about it. Knew like Atkins. And I started doing low carb, and it was working even better. But I didn't understand the science behind it. And one day I finally was like, I don't get it. Why is low carb helping me? Let me Google it. Let me do some research. And that's how I found the ketogenic diet. So I'm like, oh, okay. This kind of makes even more sense to me. Let me give this a try. And immediately, I would say my success was the same, but it wasn't nearly as hard. I just wasn't as hungry. And I felt so much more satiated when I'd eat the meals. My macros were a little better than they had been originally. So I had a ton of success. And that's what got me on my journey. I went from about 300 down to 230 in like 6 or 7 months. The most important thing is I feel empowered. Like I know how to do the diet. I've lost a ton of weight. And if I go off the diet, and maybe I do pack on a few pounds or whatever it is, I always have that card. Like I can play that card. I know how to do it. I know how to have success on it. And that's like one of the cool things about kind of the popularity of the keto diet that I'm excited is it seems to be kind of like an educated base of people that are getting into it. And that's what you want. You want people to be in control of their life.
So let's go over the ingredients and just like the overall breakdown of this. If you guys, a lot of you might be unfamiliar with keto bars, we'll link them below in this video. So these are 18 grams of fat, 7 grams of protein, and 2 net carbs. The first ingredient is chocolate liqueur. So what exactly is chocolate liqueur?
Yeah, what is it? It's a good question. We used to label it as baking chocolate, because that's what it is. We might go back to that, because so many people are confused.
That's what I would recognize.
Like, is there alcohol in this? And we're like, no, and then we have to explain it, and like it's annoying. So it is essentially just baking chocolate, so unsweetened, extremely bitter on its own, but high in fat.
Okay. It's surprising to look at a packaged bar like this and pretty much recognize every single ingredient. So I guess we can give it a try. You probably, do you have one of these a day?
I try them every day.
Like quality control?
Yeah. I've eaten so many of them that like, you know how it is. You work in a restaurant, you see the same thing every day. You're like, oh man, I don't know if I can keep on eating these. The funny thing that happens to me is that I'm like, I don't really crave them anymore, but every time I have one, I'm like, oh yeah, these are pretty good. And then I, of course, finish it.
If I was just to like try whipping one of these up in my kitchen, how hard would it be for me?
Yeah, well, so I've seen you guys' videos, and I know you guys have some skills in the kitchen. You could make something that tastes like these pretty reasonable. On a scale of 1 to 10, I bet you two could come up with something like 80% chance. You could come up with something pretty close. You would not have as much success coming with something that was shelf stable.
Okay.
So if you made something that tasted like this, it'd probably be good for a week if you refrigerated it or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a surprising, maybe an annoying amount of science that kind of goes into getting them where they are. Rich. They're so rich. They're good. They're it's my product, so like obviously I'm gonna hype it up, but richness, unlike other keto products, like or low carb products. And we do say that, by the way, like these are not low calorie. So like, don't eat a whole box.
Yeah.
We have people that are like, they order them like, oh my gosh, they're so good. We eat 10 of them. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. I mean, let's not go crazy here. We're trying to lose weight, not just figure out a new way to pack on more calories.
Very dark chocolatey, almost almond joy flavor-ish kind of. And it tastes like real food is the best thing. What took you from like the idea to actually taking action and starting this company and executing?
I didn't love my job and I was kind of miserable. And I said, if I can do this, if I can figure this out, I think it's gonna work. So it's funny how you have to have a really strong pain point sometimes to get through some other tough times, to get to where you wanted to be.
What role do you play in Keto Bars?
Yeah, so I'm Molly. I do social media, marketing, any kind of design work, and now customer support.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so if you're emailing us,
We're
talking
talking
to
to
me.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you start working at Keto Bars?
It was about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
I started working just like odd jobs here and there. Like if we
Right.
wanted to send out a newsletter quick or
Okay.
I don't know, just something small. And then as the company was growing, I started to get more responsibilities
Right.
and now I'm like full time and yeah,
Okay.
about a year and a half ago.
You had 30 seconds to pitch me or sell me on the bar. What would you say?
Right, okay. So what we like to think here is the best way to do any kind of diet is to go to the store, the market, buy your groceries, prepare all your food.
Right.
That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
The people that do that typically aren't overweight or trying to lose weight. So what we want to give you is the next best thing. So if you need to grab something quick, pre-made, that's what we're there for.
And you love the product yourself?
I eat one every day.
Okay.
At least one every day.
That's how I was when you sent us the box.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are actually going to have you, if this is okay, you're going to just take a bite and then you're going to give us the first 3 words that come to mind.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta do it too.
Oh,
We're both going to do it.
okay.
All right. I always break them off.
Okay.
This is my style.
I
That's
whip
my
it, I
style.
push it up the package.
Mm-hmm. No, the first 3 words that come to my mind are fatty, chocolatey, goodness.
Oh, it's literally my word. I always forget how good they are.
I know. Me too. They're amazing.
Okay. Dense, buttery,
Yeah.
and coconut.
Good.
It's really
Yeah.
rich with coconut. Oh man.
Yeah.
And I'm like a coconut fiend, so.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Each time I see a crowd of people, each time I see a crowd of people, each time I see a crowd of
Right.
people,
So the dream is to always make something that is whole foods, like easy ingredients, like stuff that nothing's confusing on the label. Like that's what we want, right? That's what. But most people want that too. What we didn't realize, and most people don't when they start a company, is the difference between food that you make at home and food that can sit on a shelf
Yeah.
and be available to the market. There's a lot of science that goes into that. I am sympathetic to some of the other ingredients that other companies will add.
Right.
The most common one that, so we're seeing it everywhere, is like the soluble corn fiber,
Yes.
right? And it used to be the IMO, like
Right.
the isomalto oligosaccharides, however you say that. Quest started using it first,
Right.
then all the copycats came out and
Right.
made bars that are similar, and now they switched to this corn fiber. We've kind of taken the stance of, we're not exactly sure how this is gonna play out. If you Google soluble corn fiber, I think half of the first page is like Quest results. If you get your information from the company that's trying to sell you something, you're gonna have a bad time. Like even us, like don't listen to us. Don't take our word for
Yeah.
it. Like even on the stuff we're selling you, like you need to do your own research. You need to come to your own conclusions. So that's where we're at with that. We don't villainize it. We want it to be true, actually. It makes everyone's life easier. We want the more and more things that are actually keto friendly or low carb or don't spike your blood sugar, the better. So we are rooting for all those things. Allulose is another thing that we're starting to see pop up. We don't have our own research and development team. So we kind of have to wait until other things happen. I don't know, with universities, whatever. Quest does, and they have a big stake in the game, and they're working on that. So like, I tend to take their word for things.
Yeah.
We just want to see how it plays out. What sets keto bars apart from everybody else right now is that, to my understanding, we are the only intentionally high-fat bar on the market. That's pretty good in itself. That is going to change. Other people are going to come out with stuff. We're seeing more and more products come on the market that are intentionally high-fat. We also are one of the few companies that's not playing the net carb game quite as strong as everybody else.
Yes.
We still subtract all the fiber and the erythritol from our product. So we go from 10 total carbs down to 2 net carbs.
Right.
Most of the other bars that are low net carb are like 25 carbs, and you're subtracting like 20 of them. I would say the most difficult thing, or the thing that takes up the most of our time right now, is trying to go from a e-commerce startup where we sell direct to consumer and trying to get in a position where we can work with distributors and be retail. So we have a ton of requests for like, hey, where can I buy your bars locally? Like this, I went to Whole Foods, they don't have them. What's the deal? You have to have a shelf life of like 9 months to a year, because to go from a manufacturing plant to a distributor to a retailer, and then you still have to sit on the shelves for a while, you have to have a pretty good shelf life to handle that. I'll take a step back. Like when I started, it's me. Like I'm just a dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna make a protein bar. Yeah. And I start mashing stuff together in my kitchen. And I have no experience in a kitchen other than when I delivered pizzas for Domino's in high school. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what I'm doing.
Sure.
So I buy all the low carb ingredients I can buy at the grocery store, and I just start mashing them together. Yeah. And it's terrible recipe after terrible recipe after terrible recipe. At the time I had a couple of roommates. They're eating this stuff and they're like, I mean, this is bad. Yeah. And I'm like, I know, but I was hoping maybe someone had another opinion. It's cardboard. Everything tasted terrible. When I finally had a breakthrough moment where I was like, wait, I actually made something that I want to eat again. Yeah. Like that, basically the product I launched was the first one that even tasted like reasonably good. So version 2.0 was great because not only did it help us from a shelf life standpoint, it tasted better. Yeah. And we didn't sacrifice any nutrition. Some people got annoyed that we added erythritol. We did not use that in our first version. Okay. And some people, and honestly, like kind of like we talked about the corn fiber earlier, like we always reserve the right to like be open to new science or how things work. Right. And originally I said no sugar alcohols. Like I put every sugar alcohol in the same bin and said, we're just not going to do it. And then I was getting challenged on that question, like, why not erythritol? Why not this? Why not that? And when you don't have a good answer, like eventually you need to like face the facts and say, well, I need an answer. Yeah. And ultimately we're like, the science really says that erythritol is not a big deal. Now I don't want to shovel tons of it. I don't want to eat 30 grams of it. I think there's like some gastrointestinal issues you can have if you go like overboard. Right. 4 grams we added per bar. Yeah. So like a tiny amount. And that helped. We were only using stevia, which can be bitter. Yep. And it helped mellow it out. So that helped in our new recipe. And eggs. We had to drop eggs. Our food scientist was like, they're not good to sit on a shelf. Like they hurt anything from that perspective. Version 3.0 is likely going to be considered a raw bar.
Cafe with John and Molly. Had a great time. We hope you had fun too.
We had a great time.
Now I'm gonna get away with these keto bars before they ask for them back. go. Okay.
Do one last one.
Come on.
Like,
I go on a domain name search because I'm like, Keto Bars is the obvious name.
Right.
And like ketobars.com was available. And I was like, this is it. I can't believe it. So then ketoshakes.com was available. And I'm like, buy.
Good?
Yeah.
I can't get nervous sometimes. Just here with John and Molly. We just
And maybe you